Put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Agony of Positivity podcast. I am Ross, joined by
Hired Solomon.
blah Pirate Solomon. All right,
Yeah, we'll go with Pirate Solomon.
Yes.
I said tired, but we'll go with Pirate Solomon.
well, we're gonna do the Tornado Chaser edition today. If all of a sudden you're listening to the episode and you're like, well, that's a really strange cutoff point, it might be because power went out.
Yes.
And then it was put up later.
Yeah.
We are not in the bad zone, but we are definitely in the storm zone. So if it's raining hard here, I'm going to try to mute the mic as much as I can, but I make no promises.
Yeah, I just checked the weather. It looks like it's just a little windy.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you hear this and you don't know, check out what was going on with the tornadoes through like the Arkansas to Kentucky area. It's crazy.
Yeah. Check Little Rock, Arkansas tornado and see how far that tornado went. That's
And
insane.
The other 50.
Yeah.
Let's see. So other than that, how's your week been?
So I have a story.
Okay.
And I sent you a text. I'm like, remind me to talk about the cushion lady.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was like a typo.
No.
But I honestly forgot in that moment where you work.
So we had a delivery of this. So this lady had like 20 outdoor cushions. She's very eccentric type person. So she has lots of money.
Yeah.
And she's
she can afford to be a weirdo, is basically what that means.
So we have about 20 of her cushions, okay, and like one rug. And so we're on our way. My boss is like, "Hey, can you give her a call?" I was like, "Sure." So I give her a call, and she's like, "Well, when you pull right in my driveway, you give me a call, and I will come out and open up the garage." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." So we pull in her driveway. I give her a call, and she acts annoyed that I'm calling her. I'm thinking, well, this was your idea, not mine.
Yeah, right. Usually you would call like before you leave.
Sure. So we pull in her driveway, and she opens up her garage door, and I get out of the passenger door, and she's like, "Did you come by yourself?" I'm like, no, because I was sitting in the passenger door, but okay.
Yeah.
So I get out, and my boss gets out, and she's like, "Oh, okay, good. Somebody came with you." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I just told you that." I'm like, "Whatever." So I was like, "So where would you like your cushions at? In the garage here, or out by the patio where we got them, or what?" She goes, "Oh, no, I want them down in the basement." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." She goes, "But I'm going with you." I was like, "Okay."
Right.
So me and my boss, we're going down to the basement to see where we're going to put this rug at that she has too. And I was like, "Well, he's
anvil."
Say what?
I said the rug needs to go under the anvil.
Yeah. So we get down there, and I told him, I was like, "Hey, I'm going to well, you talk to her. I'm going to go up there and start getting the cushions." He's like, "Okay." So she's distracted with talking to him, and I come back in with one of the cushions because we wrapped them up in trash bags basically to keep them from getting dirty. And she's like, "Oh, you could just throw those cushions down the steps there. That way you don't have to keep walking back up and forth." And I was like, "Well, I don't like doing that because there's a lot of pictures hanging on the wall, you know."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "Well, I don't want to throw these down and hit a picture." And I'm like, it's not a big deal for me to walk up and down." She's like, "That's right, it's not a big deal." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "We're both agreed it's not a big deal." She goes, "Don't throw those down. Don't throw those down down the stairwell. I was like, well, I wasn't going to. I just told you I wasn't going to.
Right, but you had just suggested to do that.
Yeah. And she's like, well, that's right. They're my cushions. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, she's like, I want my rug right here. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And she's like, now you're gonna move that table, right? And where she's pointing at, there's a table. I was like, well, yeah, I have to. We'll move the table to get it underneath the table because that's what you want.
Yeah.
So as we're putting it down, we move the table. Well, no, she's like, "Are you going to move the table first?" I was like, "Well, yeah, I can't transmute the rug to make it go through the table." So we move the rug or move the table, and then we lay it out. She's like, "Oh, you need to adjust that." And we just got unrolled.
Yeah.
We're
Like,
like,
yeah, there's been no like actual placement. You're just getting it in the general area.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, yeah, I know. We just unrolled it. So, and we just start like trying to adjust it. She goes, "Oh no, you're going to do more than that." We're like, "We know." I'm thinking, "Shut the hell up," so I can adjust the rug.
Like, all right, lady, there's only 360 degrees of adjustment that we can make.
So we get it to where she likes it, and she's like, "Are you going to put that rug? Are you going to put that table back on the rug?" I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So we put the table back on, and she's just weird. And as we're leaving, I'm thinking, I tell my boss, I was like, "Do not ever bring me back to this lady's house ever again." He's like, "Yeah, I know. She's a
Was
little weird."
she was she older?
Yeah.
I almost wonder because when I worked at the care place, basically for like dementia patients or Alzheimer's, that kind of stuff, it sounds a very, very much like some conversations I would have when I was doing stuff for people there, as far as cleaning. So it could be one of those things. Doesn't make it like. For me in that environment, I was prepared to handle that kind of stuff. What you're doing, you're not expecting to run into that, and you would have without being told that, you'd have no idea what's going on. Like, there's no way you're just dealing with like a weirdo, basically.
Well, and then also as we're leaving, when we first get there, she makes it a point. She goes, "Look at my Christmas tree I put up down here in my basement." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty nice." And so there's like a one-shot comment. I didn't think anything else of it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so we're getting ready to leave, and we're like, "All right, we'll see you later. Have a Merry Christmas." Well, I don't celebrate Christmas. Thinking, well, you just showed me the Christmas tree. You literally went out of your way to point to it.
Maybe she's like one of the people that I'm always expecting that she's actually building the altar to Nimrod.
Yeah.
There you go. It's finally happening.
I'm like, you're the one that pointed it out to me.
You're like, well, it's not for Christmas.
Oh, I keep that up all year. Oh, that's my basement tree.
Well, we had that's just my festive decorative tree. Now we kept our fathead Christmas tree up year round.
Yeah, we kept up our Christmas tree up all year round too.
The putting up and down Christmas trees is hard. Unfortunately, the fathead Christmas tree did not make the journey with me.
Dum. We have to get a new one then.
I don't know if they make them.
Is Fathead even a business still?
I don't know. Let's see. Fathead Christmas tree. Can I still order one? It looks like no. I can order a fat Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Oh, it auto-corrected. That's why. It looks like they still exist. Or people are reselling ones. But either way. Yeah. Could get another one. But here we actually have a tree outside that is a Christmas tree that could have been decorated. Although, with the amount of wind we got, it's probably for the better that it wasn't.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Last night we had to... because we have our blow-ups on timers, and they usually go off around like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I was telling my wife, I was like, tonight we better unplug these inflatables.
Yeah. So they don't become balloons.
Yeah. So I haven't went out there yet, but I think all of my inflatables made it.
Are still there. The
Next door neighbors have my inflatables, and you see them. I mean, how funny would it be if like one of my inflatables floated in his yard and he sets it up as his own?
I mean, wouldn't that be not a surprise with the one neighbor? They seem to
that's
always
true,
be doing
yeah.
crazy stuff.
Sure. Like, that's my blow up. No, no, it's not. It's mine. I've got it.
Like, it liberated itself into my yard.
Yes.
Let's see here. As far as show today, did you catch Dynamite?
I did.
Let's do.
We can talk a little bit about Hearthstone, just a tiny bit, because I've been playing that deck that you was playing.
Okay, 1 second here. We'll do bumper time.
Get over here! Time's up. Let's do this.
All right, you're playing the Hunter deck,
Yeah, the Hunter.
Quest Hunter.
Yeah,
I'm
hardly
sorry,
any
Quest Line Hunter.
Like no minions whatsoever. You know.
Yep. Did you do it with the like that neutral weapon that lets you pick like the card you would draw or draw a different card?
No, I don't have that.
Okay.
So I need to craft that one.
I think personally that card
Mm-hmm.
was the strongest change that I made.
Yeah.
Just because if you get that early, because there's like certain matchups, like, have you noticed like against Pirate Warrior, it's really important to get your removal.
Yes.
Yep. Being able to cycle that extra card instead of draw like, because I had like Cold Light Oracles in mine. On turn 3, I'd much rather have any kind of removal as opposed to Cold Light Oracle.
Sure.
So just that, or if you're going to draw Baku, literally any other card in the deck is better than drawing him.
Yes. Yes. I had a couple priests play Dirty Rat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, good. I was like, good, because I don't want to waste a mana on bringing him out anyways. Type thing.
Well, you're probably never going to see turn 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the big things that once you know the decks. So again, if somebody's not super familiar, so this is the deck. I was talking about it last week. I hit the Wild Legend with it, but you basically go through the Hunter quest line, and then it makes your hero power cheaper, and then you can basically every time you play a spell, it refreshes your ability, so you can do like an insane amount of damage in one turn if you have the right cards in hand. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the biggest thing is once you complete your quest, and like against Priest almost every time, I was making sure to not complete the quest to get the dude that you get unless I could play him on the same turn, because I know they have dirty rats and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Now against like Pirate Warrior, unless they've like teched out against the Hunter, which until you get to like right before Legend, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest thing that I keep playing or running up against is Priest. The big, I guess you call it Big Priest, I guess.
Yeah.
And they can't, because I think their deck is just for it. Their counters are for people with minions.
Yeah.
When you don't have minions, it totally ruins that deck.
Yeah. Have you played a mirror match?
Yeah.
Now, have you gotten to where like you wait, because you have like the 2 different spells that'll summon a minion for you?
Yep.
Have you gotten to where you're like playing that and then using, I forget there's one thing that targets minions specifically that does like 2 damage, but it does 1 additional for a beast, where you're using that on your own summoned hounds just so that the other hunter can't.
Yeah.
Like, I find the mirror match is very interesting in that.
Well, I see a lot of people using. I'll go mirror matches with people, but they don't have Baku. I'm thinking, well, I'm going to destroy you because I have the 3 damage. You only have 2.
Yeah, I was playing one for a little while, that I basically I switched out the stuff just because I wanted to see, and I was using like the goblin bombs where it's like deal 2 damage and summon a goblin bomb and things like that. And it's not bad, but once you get to like however far it is when everybody's playing a meta deck, like the good like not necessarily a meta deck, but the good decks, you need what Baku brings basically, like that extra 1 damage. But yeah, like, do you find it, because it's not like the most engaging deck, but there is a lot of decision making, it feels like, especially against Pirate.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's just a nasty deck. At times it's like, good grief. Because like you said, most people you end the turns around like turn 6.
Yeah. Winning on turn 6, I had a few games where I'd win on like turn 5 because I'd have Auction Master Beardo or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would actually going second also, where you get the coin. I almost feel like that's an advantage with that deck.
Yep.
If for no other reason, if you don't need the coin, if you draw like all your rapid fires or whatever, that lets you to play your dude either a turn earlier, or you have like a guaranteed, 3 hero powers in a turn. Because play him, play the coin, play something that like there's a lot there. At a certain point, all the games feel the same though. Like it does get towards the end of my run into the legend rank or whatever. It was like, oh my gosh, another pirate warrior. All right.
Sure.
Well, let's see. Did I draw good? Did he draw good?
Yeah.
Because if you have a game where you drew like, basically, if you drew Baku against Pirate Warrior, I don't know if it tracks that specifically, the information.
Yeah.
But I'd wager I'd lost almost every one of those.
Yeah.
Just because you just have such a dead card, and if you draw stuff that doesn't do any good, like a Baku, a couple other things, you're going to be in a bad way. But
it's like the one thing I keep running into, because I'm not near legend yet, I'm in platinum.
Yeah.
Is shaman. I keep running across shamans.
I didn't have too hard of a time with. Now I don't know about with the new set. I don't know if shaman has new tricks or anything. But like, are they giving you a problem or?
No, because they are basically built around doing overload.
Yeah.
And if I don't have minions out, it's hard to do their overload stuff. So,
yeah.
So I've not had too many problems with them.
Yeah, it's wild how like you basically have no minions that you care about.
Yeah.
And then the one minion you play, you don't, honestly, it could be a 1/1. You don't really care about that guy. You care about his effect. But at the same time, they then have to burn resources because they don't want to get hit by 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I found funny. The amount of times I was able to get a swing on them with that guy. Because, like, I've played no minions. How do you have no removal in your hand for this guy?
Sure.
Like 5 turns in, but...
Well, what amazed me that I'm like, yeah, this is a nasty deck, is like, I went against somebody that was Reno.
Yeah.
And I basically killed him with 60 health.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good God.
It gets nasty. Like, if you hit your final objective and you haven't played, like, tracking or the rapid fire, like the twin spells, or flare or whatever, like, you can do just a disgusting amount of damage on a turn.
Yep.
I
see the win that you were talking about. Good grief.
Yeah, it was pretty rough here for a little bit. But yeah, so have you messed with any of the new cards, or did you even get any packs?
So I had to get because I had a lot of gold.
Yeah.
I bought a bunch of I think it was Stormwind to get that one quest, and
Yeah.
I was fortunate to get the Stormwind pack for the hunter quest. I was like, yes.
Yeah, it actually worked out.
So yes, I drained all my gold doing it, but yeah, so I was able to get all my the cards I needed to play that deck.
Now, do you regularly disenchant stuff?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say because I don't usually disenchant my extras. Like I might have 2 copies of something and then 1 gold card.
Yeah.
I actually went through like where you could type like, crafting or whatever and type extra in for the filter and it'll bring all that stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
I went through and dusted basically all the gold cards that I'm never going to use.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And I had so much dust from that.
Yep.
I did not. So I was talking last week where I was thinking about buying like one of the expansion deals or whatever. I ended up not, like I just couldn't do it. And like I could afford it, but I just was like, you know what? Like I was looking at the 50 or the 81 and I was like, well, the card back's kind of cool. I was like, I'd rather spend it on something else.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way.
I bought with gold. I got like the new the Battlegrounds Pass thing, Tavern Perks or whatever, and then I've spent some gold to get my. You get like 1 legendary within the first 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I'm kind of holding off to see like what decks are do what.
I really thought about buying or using some money just to get the Yeti Hunter for Christmas.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a pretty neat skin, the way it looks and everything.
Yeah, they're really pumping out the cosmetic stuff.
Yeah.
Not surprising that. I mean, that's really, other than selling the cards, that's like the only thing they can do to monetize it. So.
Sure.
Which is fine. I mean, like they can do that all they want. I wish they would do better on their pricing.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, like, how long has Hearthstone been out now?
It's
like 100 years.
How many years?
100.
Well, I know when you and me first met.
Oh, it's
that's
7.
When it
7 years.
That's when it first came out. So yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
Well, because I started playing it as soon as the open beta happened. I was like, oh, I've been wanting to play this, and I started playing, and I've pretty much never stopped. Although I did stop spending money. Uh-oh. Are you there? Or have the weather goblins gotten you? We are going to pause for a moment.
Covered, and there's so much more.
All right. Solomon has slain the weather goblins.
Yes, they attacked me. They got me when I least expected it.
No, you were saying like the wind just kind of quit there.
Yeah, so it was like really heavy downpour, like you said. It's like crazy wind, and now it's like nothing out there.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of see blue skies in the background.
Yeah, no, I can tell the sun's coming out here. It's still a little bit windy, but
yeah. But yeah, anyway, who knows?
Yep. But all right, so I think we were wrapping up the Hearthstone stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
so you haven't really bought like the new packs.
No, I have not.
Okay, so yeah, I'm curious how it'll as it goes on, but yeah, I've had like a lot more gold, so it still worked out good.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just 7-year-old game that I've played the entire time, with very few breaks. Because even when I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to play Hearthstone, it's still the easiest game to like boot up and do something else while I'm doing it. Especially with Battlegrounds.
I think it's just just shows you the state of Blizzard. I think all their games are they need to do something, or they're going to lose a mass amounts of money.
Yeah, well, like even with Warcraft, it just seems like I read the stuff about like the 9.2 patch and things they're doing, and I'm like, well, none of that sounds really interesting. at all.
Yeah.
Because I can just watch the cinematics.
Well, and they have not learned from previous failures. Like, no one wants to do these dailies that you keep making us people. Yeah. So.
And if you don't do the daily, you are behind.
Sure.
For stuff that's going to matter. Like, oh, you didn't grind your rep?
Yes.
Bad news.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying for Final Fantasy 14. I had, because I have like my account through like Steam or whatever, but I'm not going to be buying the Endwalker anytime soon because there's just so much to get through. But I was like, you know what? They do like, I made an alternate account because they have like a free trial that is basically the first 2 expansions. There's no time limit on it.
Yeah.
The only downside is you can't log in if there's a queue because you're the free-to-play account. You don't get that kind of priority, obviously, which I think is fair since they have a subscription model or whatever. But
makes sense.
So I was like, oh well, I guess I'm never going to play this free account. Maybe I'll just spend like $15 to get the other one going. But just haven't had a ton of time. Like, I'm hoping today to play the Halo Infinite campaign.
Okay.
But I don't know if I'll get to it. Like, there's a few things I want to play, but yeah. Did you ever sign up for the Xbox Game Pass?
No.
Okay. I'll still say if you get like one of the $1 offers, it's definitely worth it to.
I don't know what I don't know what kind of job you have, but $1. I mean, that's a lot of money. So,
yes.
I mean, I just, for whatever reason, it is a good deal. I just never done it.
Well, I mean, it also depends on like, because I've downloaded like 5 different games that I just don't play. Like, I want to, and then it's like there's just not a convenient time to do it.
And that's part of the problem, Ross. I think we have grown out of video games or something, because I want to play video games. I have a desire to play video games. I just don't play video games for some reason.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know what it is. Like, again, I could play games like Hearthstone because it's like turn-based and I can just take my time.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting thing, and I don't know if people listening are older or what their situations are. Like, so turn-based game obviously works out really well. I do play Slay the Spire some. Again, that's turn-based. You can just walk away from it. You can let those stupid little blobs sit there for a day, and they ain't going to do nothing. Sometimes I do that when I'm going to lose, just to make the game suffer. Like, oh, time to go to work. Yeah, you're going to sit here, and then I'm just going to quit. You don't even get to kill me. But there's other turn-based games like that are like role-playing turn-based games that I could absolutely try to play. And for some reason, I don't want to pursue those. I pursue games that involve like full attention that I just don't have time.
that you just don't want to give to a game anymore.
Yeah, like there's other stuff going on, and it's like, this is a little bit more important, or I guess I want to do this more.
Sure.
I need to win the lottery, and that'll eliminate. Fast forward like a year, I have won the lottery, and it's like I still just don't have time.
I just think we're old now, or else we don't. I don't know.
All right. Have you? So I absolutely did not have time to watch anything this week.
Yeah. So
other
are
than
you
Dynamite?
So you want to do a little bit of movies, a little bit?
Yeah.
Do the movie buffer?
Yep. Here we go. Somewhere.
Something that could never ever possibly destroy us. Mr. Stay Puft.
You chose poorly. You have chosen wisely.
All right. So what do you got?
Are you excited to see Spider-Man?
I'm starting to get on the hype train.
Yeah.
Somehow I did not realize it was so close.
Yep.
I still haven't watched the trailer.
Really?
But I did see yesterday the Daily Bugle popped up in New York with their anti-Spider-Man propaganda.
Yeah.
And then I was very sad because I'm going to assume that there's a limited edition. Like they were given that edition of the Daily Bugle out for free.
Really?
It is a shame that I will not be able to have one of those as a collector's item unless I spend. Let's find out. eBay Daily Bugle.
You always just drive up there.
Well, I'm going to assume if they were giving them away,
Yeah.
that it is gone.
Sure. Any eBay selling?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Daily Bugle. I don't know if it actually is on there yet.
Really? Well, maybe they're actually fans that actually want to keep it.
I'm sure if they're keeping it because they're going to sell it. Like, I'm sure there's people who are, like, getting multiples of them.
Sure.
But, yeah, like, one guy was saying that he lived, like, right across the street from where it's set up. And he was like, oh, that's what's going on. He was like, I was looking outside, and I was like, what is this? Why are there so many people?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely watch it.
Well, I saw the.
I need to go back and watch the other two Spider-Mans. I have not seen them.
Really?
Nope.
The one with Mysterio is all right. It's just me. It's just me. But the first one was pretty good.
Okay.
It was a good idea for Disney and Sony to kind of team up.
You mean for Sony to finally be like, all right, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea because I've always kind of wondered, I was like, well, how in the world does Spider-Man afford a suit if he is broke all the time?
Yeah.
And introducing Tony Stark definitely helps that. So
To be a benefactor.
yes.
Yeah. The thing, like, it's funny because they do like the Doc Ock story where like Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man's body or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to say it's the webbing where he gets a patent on it or something, but he basically like he's better at being Peter Parker than Peter Parker was, as far as being successful in life, not having to suffer.
Yeah, I saw an interview with William Dafoe and the guy. I feel sorry for it. I always because every movie, because even in Indiana Jones, I'm like, yeah, it's the guy that played Doc Ock.
Yeah,
I don't know the guy's name. But they did an interview, and it made me want to go watch it. So,
I mean, it seems like it should be pretty good. Like they're getting into like the whole Spider-Verse thing. It feels like, which honestly makes Spider-Man kind of more interesting.
Yeah,
because I mean he is a good character and all, but adding some wildness to it for now is okay. I'm looking at the Flash and Flashpoint and time travel.
yes.
Like, we'll see how it goes. Like, because I don't know. Like, it looks like they might avoid the next Spider-Man movie curse where all of a sudden he has to fight everyone and it sucks.
Sure.
Like,
Well,
Spider-Man against one villain was great. What about 14?
Well, and it looks like this from the trailers. I don't know if this is the case because I'm not seeing the movie. He has all these bad guys he has to face, and I think the other Spider-Men from the other universes or dimensions or whatever help him out.
Okay.
That's what they keep hinting at.
I mean, really all that matters is seeing Miles show up.
Sure.
Pretty sure.
Because William Dafoe is like, because they asked him about that, like, well, your character's dead. He's like, we talk about that. And he's like, of all the villains, he's like, I think my villain has the best story because he has the most to fight for.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's interesting because he's dead. So.
Well, I mean, there's a ton of Green Goblins, so.
Sure.
And like the Green Goblin's just like a psychopath, so.
Sure.
Like, I'm trying to think, is Green Goblin like the villain for Spider-Man?
He's what now?
is he like the villain? Like, you know, you got Batman and Joker. Is Green Goblin
Yeah, see,
really?
I could never figure out if it was the Green Goblin or if it was the Kingpin.
I always
I don't know.
associate Kingpin to Daredevil.
Yeah, people say that, but when I watch the cartoon, they always had Kingpin.
Right.
So in my mind, I associate Kingpin to Spider-Man.
Right, which is fair, because, I mean, that's pretty much like 90% of what he dealt with in the cartoon for the longest time.
Sure.
It was stupid Kingpin. Yeah, I don't know, but maybe I'll watch the trailer today, because it's only like a couple minutes. I can squeeze that in.
I can make myself watch something for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I can squeeze in stuff that I can just listen to without having to pay attention to. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to look at it. I can just listen to it.
So the only other movie news I have is, and some really movie news is TV news, is Hawkeye continues to be good.
Yeah.
I recommend you watching it.
Okay.
And
haven't
I know how
ruined it
you
yet.
are with me recommending stuff, because I remember recommending Arrow. It took you 2 years to watch Arrow.
Well, but
and
then I
then-
got season 1 and season 2, and it was good.
Yes.
But
and
then all of a sudden it was like, oh, season 3, what do you get me into?
And then, yeah, unfortunately, Arrow just went downhill after that. So,
Like, yeah. Yeah, that's like the worst one, because, like, man, season 1 and season 2 of Arrow were so good, they could have just stopped.
well,
Like,
yeah,
there's a
'cause-
world where they just stop.
Well, and when they introduced Ra's al Ghul, I was like, oh, there we go. This is where the TV show is off the rails now.
I was very willing to give them the opportunity,
Yeah.
because it was like, okay, I mean, in Arrow, like, he's basically Batman light.
Sure.
So I was like, there's a world where this could work out pretty good. And then
It turns out it
didn't.
was not. Yeah.
It did not work out good at all. So.
Yes. Yeah.
My brother has actually been watching Doom Patrol.
Well, yeah, I've seen Breeze for it. I'm not
He's really liking it. So, and he's pretty picky about comic book stuff. So,
I keep hearing people talk about. I don't know if it's called this, because the character's called Homelander.
yeah,
Is that what it's called?
no,
Is it
that's The
called something
Boys
else?
on Amazon.
The Boys.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I hear that's good. To a point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not watched it.
I ended up just looking through like the comic book stuff of it,
Yeah.
and now I feel like I've seen the story. Although the show is got some differences for sure.
Sure.
But it's like basically like the superheroes are actually awful people.
Gotcha.
Is really what it comes down to. And there's a world where I want to watch it,
Yeah.
but it's one of those like you can kind of tell what the story's going to be. So I
Don't.
it's so far down on my list.
So basically, it's about the main bad guy, isn't it? Like an evil Superman, basically.
I don't know if it's about him. It's basically like trying to figure out what's going on with the supers. There's people who want revenge against the supers. Because it starts with like the Flash equivalent guy exploding this dude's girlfriend or fiance or whatever she was.
Okay.
And it's nothing to him. And then like you kind of see that the heroes don't really care about people. Like they're just kind of doing whatever. Like if innocent people die, it's not a big deal to them.
So you are basically describing to me X-Men.
Yeah, if everybody had like Wolverine when he's angry's mentality.
Well, what I'm saying is, because if like people have the anti-superhero league, that's what they did in X-Men.
Yeah.
The anti-mutant thing, and because Magneto didn't care. So that's just how you're describing it to me. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like I just watched the '80s cartoon version of it.
Yeah, they still like try to stop stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like, but if it goes like horribly bad, they don't really care. Like, it's
See, I
hard to
don't
say.
know.
Like, I've watched, like, the clips. Like,
Yeah.
clips will pop up occasionally of, like, different scenes. And I've watched, like, the scenes where, like, stuff happens, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's still interesting. Like, if I had unlimited time to watch TV shows,
Yeah.
I mean, it'd still probably be, like, a top 10 show that I would get around to watching.
You have to give me a character that I can at least root for. An example I use of this all the time is like Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Was a good example of this. The character Jax he's in a biker gang. He does despicable things, but deep down inside in the first couple seasons, he was a good guy. He realized that he has to try to be better than the rest of the club type thing. And then, like, later on, he doesn't care anymore, and he was acting like the rest of them. So I'm just like, well, I don't care about this character
I
anymore.
would guess in this one, because there's, like, a group of, like, normal people who are trying to, like, get justice on the supers.
Okay.
So they would probably be the people you'd be rooting for.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, they catch, like, they catch and do bad things to some of the different people. Like the supers. Like, they figure out how, like, weaknesses and stuff like that for some of them.
Oh, okay.
So there's, like, there's definitely, like, a group that you would, they might not technically be good guys, but they're, like, the good guys of the story.
Okay. So now you're just describing Lex Luthor now.
Right.
so Lex Luthor in this universe would just rule then, right?
Yeah, I think they have, like, the Lex Luthor character.
Gotcha.
Because
Okay.
there's a corporation involved, and you find out stuff about them. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
but it'd be one of the, like, if you had nothing to watch,
Sure.
I think you would probably know 2 episodes in.
If I'll like it or
I
not.
think so. I think you'd be
Gotcha.
like, it's a fairly overall, it's a logical story. So you'd be like, this is probably how it'll play out, but I'd like to see how they do it, kind of
Gotcha.
thing. Like, like the body of the story, but the skeleton, so to say, like how they get there, might be a little bit different than what you would expect. But
Gotcha.
again,
Okay.
I haven't, like, watched all of it. I've watched bits and pieces here and there. So,
I may check it out.
all right.
Well, you ready to talk about some wrestling to wrap it up?
Let's do that. We got this.
This is a revolution.
All right. We will go. So we're only going to talk about Hook because that's what the world wants. No, we will briefly talk about Hook, but not at this moment. We will wait till we get done with Dynamite. Try to breeze through
Sure.
it. Did you catch out any WWE stuff or any old stuff or anything this week?
The only thing I saw of WWE was an Instagram post of Brock Lesnar wearing the most ridiculous outfit I've
Was
ever
it the
seen.
overalls?
Yes, I'm like, are they just making him full Farmer Brown now? That it looks so stupid.
I don't understand, but I'm assuming he just shows up. Like, if Brock Lesnar shows up, you're gonna be like, Brock, you need to change. I'm not.
Yeah.
Vince might do that, but
Well,
yeah, like I saw that was basically trending at one point, or at least on the For You tab, that was definitely trending.
Well, I totally can picture Vince saying, "All right, Brock, I'm seeing you this run as a Farmer Brown guy." Like, and I can actually see him trying to pitch the wearing a straw hat because Vince has no idea what a farmer is.
Yeah, yeah. The current Brock Lesnar, I don't know if it's because he's associated with what's it called, like that butcher shop thing.
Yeah,
Like,
okay,
his current look is definitely weird.
yeah.
Like, with the hair, like, the beard's fine, but it's like he's turning into a lumberjack before our eyes.
Sure. I could see Vince. All right, we need to get you an ox and make you have a make you have
We're
an
gonna dye
axe
it blue. You know how amazing that would be? They have him ride in on a dyed blue ox.
That'd be great.
referring to Paul Bunyan if people are not catching the reference, because I don't think Paul Bunyan is talked about in school currently.
The younger generation might not know who Paul Bunyan is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've not seen.
Who's the guy who roped the tornado?
Matt Hardy.
The cowboy. What's his name?
Matt Hardy. Oh no, that's Slap a Tornado, I believe.
No, he's a cowboy who roped the tornado, and that's how we got the Mississippi River.
I'm trying to see if there's Chris Ledoux.
Chris Ledoux sings a song about that.
I don't know.
Oh, well, whatever.
I've never.
After this show, I'm gonna go look up in Weiss, like they're not fairy tale, tall tales, and I'm gonna find out who he's a cowboy. I don't know his name. What's his name?
Is it Pecos Bill?
There we go. That's who it is.
Yes, he managed to lasso a tornado.
Yes.
This is a fictional cowboy story.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. I don't. I don't think.
I feel like we could have used him the other night.
Last night? Sure. Yeah.
He would have been busy.
Sure. See, I don't think they. I don't know how we got on this topic of tall tales here, but yes, I don't think the younger generation.
We were singing Matt Hardy's old theme song and got confused.
Now, do you think AEW will get Matt Hardy,
You mean Jeff?
Do you think yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Jeff. Do you think they'll use him? Won't use him because he refused to get help for his addiction, I guess.
I'm real curious because I saw the so yeah, Jeff Hardy gets released. There's a video where like he makes like the hot tag at a house show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lays on the apron for a minute, stands up and just walks out through the crowd.
Yeah.
But if he was in the match, like there's no reports that there's anything wrong with him in the match other than he was sluggish is the only thing I saw.
Sure.
Which could very well just be that WWE's schedule sucks for an old guy.
Sure.
Yeah, or maybe he's like, man, again, Jeff Hardy, rather creative person. He hasn't really been doing much that has any interest to it that I'm aware of.
Yeah, okay. You're saying he maybe sabotaged himself?
Maybe he was just like, I'm done.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I'm not enjoying this. This sucks. I'm going to go home.
Yes.
Now,
yeah, sure.
With history, like, he obviously has his problems. So there's like a high chance, I guess, like, you can't discount the fact that maybe there was something wrong, but obviously they would immediately go to rehab is what's wrong. So maybe, people there would know more than we would ever know, clearly. But like, there's not really been anything that come out that makes me that is 100% that he was like on something or whatever during that match.
Well, yeah, because he didn't look like he did when he was wrestling Sting that one time.
Right. So I mean, it's possible that there was something, but you'd have to know like what the actual story is.
Sure.
And I don't know about the people who are like, oh, I think he did it on purpose to get out of his contract. Like,
sure.
I don't think you would, like, if you're fighting addiction, I don't think you're going to give in to basically like have to start over just to pull that. But you could just pull that without actually having done that.
Exactly, yeah.
And know that they would be suspicious and force the issue, and you could get out of your contract.
Exactly.
Like, I could totally see that. But I don't know either way. But assuming... So my thought would be, if he is having an issue, I mean, he'd have to go to a rehab before you would want to bring him in, I would think.
Yeah.
From, if for no other reason, like a liability issue.
I want him to be brought in just so I can get rid of this terrible Matt Hardy that we have currently in AEW. Because
what if we get Big Money Matt?
Big Money
and
Jeff.
Weird Money Jeff.
No. No, I want a better version of Matt Hardy than what I'm getting right now.
Or would you want like an actual Hardy Boys run?
No,
Just to
no,
have them get like a match against like FTR, Young Bucks,
no,
like a couple others.
no. I want the Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy that was in TNA that were actually interesting, because the Hardy Boys has never been interesting to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I want the weirdos.
Yeah, like the broken
Delete
Hardys.
and Brother Nero and some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you just want like a short run where they have like basically hit like the big matches that are available to them, and maybe that's the end of that run?
I mean, and I wouldn't mind them getting the belts over there
Yeah.
at AEW, just so they can say, "Hey, we've had a lot of belts."
Yeah,
type
like
thing.
every federation on Earth.
Yeah.
Well, weren't they on like an intergalactic quest for gold at one point in time in TNA or something?
I thought when they was in Ring of Honor or whatever they were doing, yeah, I thought they were like trying to get all the belts.
Yeah, I forget. I don't remember what they called it, but yeah, they had like a ton of belts for like different federations or whatever.
Because they're one of the few that could, because I think at that point they probably could beat the Dudley Boys for the most belts.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Dudley Boys
Because I don't think
had
the
a
Dudley
lot.
Boys ever. I don't think the Dudley Boys ever had the Ring of Honor belts.
That I'm not sure about. I mean, they could definitely, if nothing else, adding the AEW tag belts to it would just be funny.
Sure.
Because there's going to be like the teams that would even be able to match them wouldn't. Like, you're not going to. I have the feeling that as the future goes on, if you're like an AEW talent,
Yeah.
like if MJF goes to WWE,
Yeah.
I have the feeling that it's going to be WCW all over again, where
Yes.
they're not going to treat like like someone who was basically made or became more known in AEW.
Yep.
I would be curious to see what happens when somebody who's like a bigger star, because it'll happen at some point, like a bigger AEW star goes to WWE, what they do to them.
Well, they I remember the Young Bucks and Kenny saying in an interview that WWE promised that they would not put them on NXT. They would put them on the main roster. So you know that's probably what they would do. They would probably, all right, you're going to NXT.
Right. Well, if they would even take them, but like
Exactly, yeah.
I can't believe that they would, if the person started to get over huge and was getting bigger, say someone's getting a better reaction than Roman somehow, as far as what they want,
Yeah.
they're going to cut that guy down as quick as possible.
Sure.
Would be my assumption.
Unless you're AJ Styles, for whatever reason.
Has somehow, yeah.
WWE.
He hasn't really done a lot lately, but I mean,
He's fighting that terrible wrestler,
Omos.
Omos or whatever the hell his name is.
He's such a big dude, but like I'm not.
Sure.
The little bit that I've seen, I'm not seeing it.
They're like, I've heard people compare him to Andre the Giant. I'm like, no.
I have not watched a ton of old Andre the Giant matches, but
Sure.
I would have to do that and then watch him, but like he doesn't look like he's in control is the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because when I think of Andre as, you know, when he was basically like the guy that everybody worried about, like, oh, I hope Andre has a good opinion of me, because if not, my life is going to be incredibly difficult.
Sure. Sure.
To where he basically is in charge in the ring.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to, like, it's not a fair comparison. Like, he's not as, like, mass wise, like he's just not as big as Andre was. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and what made Andre the Giant, at least for me, because at least what I remember of Andre the Giant is he had Bobby the Brain.
yeah.
And Bobby, I mean, you if you have Bobby the Brain as your manager, I mean, you was pretty much set back then.
Yeah.
'Cause
You're
Bobby
in a
was
pretty good spot.
Bobby was good at what he did, so yeah.
Except poor Brooklyn Brawler when he feuded with the Red Rooster.
Well, you know, you can't make everyone popular.
Right. I mean, arguably, Brooklyn Brawler had a pretty good career. Have they made a figure of him yet?
I don't know, maybe.
Brooklyn Brawler Elite. I don't think they ever made a Brooklyn Brawler. Huh, that's a shame. But yeah, so I don't know, like, but back to like the Jeff Hardy thing. Yeah, it's just super weird.
Sure. All right, sorry to distract us.
Oh no, that's totally fine. But yeah, other than like the Jeff Hardy news being kind of like a big thing, I didn't really. I think I might have watched some clips from Raw, or I was familiar with what happened with Raw at one point this week, but I don't really remember it now.
It left me.
Yeah, because it's just, I don't know, like SmackDown. SmackDown's kind of the same way, other than like the big stuff. I don't know. Brock Lesnar beating up Sami Zayn in a wheelchair is pretty good.
Sure.
All right, travel back in time here to Dynamite. Taz and Excalibur and Shivani are your commentary. I know everybody. Well, not everybody. I've been on the internet. A lot of people like JR, but I really like Taz on commentary better.
Yeah, Taz is good.
I like Taz. But more so, I like Taz and Excalibur, how they go back and forth. Tony Schiavone's job is easy. He's just like, that's right, JR. That's right, Taz. It doesn't matter who you put in there.
That and
Tony, go give someone a microphone in the ring.
it's weird that Tony Schiavone is like, when it comes to, he's a good guy most of the time, except when it comes to Britt Baker, and then he's like a slimy old man, harboring feelings for Adam Cole's girlfriend.
I don't know. I don't know how that's supposed to, like. I don't know how that's supposed to play. Like,
yeah, I don't know either, and I don't know why you would do it, because I don't know what the end game is.
Because I think because Britt getting her character down, it was back and forth with Shivani a lot at that point in time. So it's an important part to the character. So them being friends, like Adam Cole coming in and being jealous or whatever, makes sense. Like, you almost have to do it.
Sure.
But so this show kicked off. We got MJF's music hits, and instead CM Punk walks out, which of all the things that could have been done, that wasn't something that occurred to me for them to do.
Sure.
Because good guys don't do that.
Sure. Yeah. CM Punk is definitely the anti-hero in this storyline.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in Long Island, where, like, holy moly. Like, it reminded me of, do you remember when Shawn Michaels was heel for that little bit and they went to Canada?
Yeah.
Like, it felt very much like that. But yeah, so the biggest thing here is, I mean, he's basically just trying to rile the crowd up. And insulted the crowd in a very weird way.
Yeah.
But I liked it. And he's basically saying he's trying to get into the title picture. So after whatever happens next week, I'm still, well, I mean, we can talk about that later because Brian has a match. So
yeah.
But yeah, so he just runs the crowd down, which is going to make MJF get an even better reaction when he comes out.
Which is why he did it.
Yeah. Like, so again, like, I'm probably going to ask this periodically for a while, but because you weren't like really watching CM Punk when he was in WWE and stuff, but would you say like you can kind of see now what some people were referring to about him like getting it, I guess, as far as how things should work?
Yeah, I don't understand like people like Jim Cornette who like have been dogging this run.
Yeah,
and I think Jim admitted that he understands what they're doing,
but he doesn't like it.
He doesn't like it,
right? Well, because he likes Punk, but it seems like his criticism is you've made him not special. Like he's another guy on your roster, but I still think that it's like Punk knows he has limited time, so he wants to do as much as he can. Like,
Yeah.
you have someone that
I mean,
he loves wrestling. He wants to wrestle. He doesn't want to be like the attraction that never does anything.
Yeah, the old man, I guess, old man Logan story.
Yeah.
It's good because he's not young. I mean, he
Right.
is an older wrestler, so why wouldn't you go that route that they're doing? So I have no
Right.
problem with it.
Well, I also imagine like the first time he got in the ring with Darby, he was like, "Oh man, I forgot that if you don't do this pretty regularly, it feels like hell."
Sure.
So I'm sure he's like, "Nah, try to give me a match like at least every week." I was like I need to be used to this. Like I can't do 2 months off and then have a match. It's gonna kill me.
Well, and the reports of CM Punk is only going to wrestle 6 times a year. Well, he's already beat that. So.
Yeah, that was way wrong.
Yeah. So
Again, you got to figure like he basically said he was like he's actually enjoying wrestling because he's either has like a large input or gets to do what he wants.
Sure.
And that's all he ever really seems like probably all he ever wanted. Like it's not the wins and the losses. It's doing something compelling.
Someone that actually listens is like, hey, so here's my idea. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Instead of like, nope. You're wearing a straw hat, and you're carrying a pig around, and that's what you're going to do.
Be like, we're going to get the Godwins out of retirement for you.
Yes.
So we got the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal that is basically the MJF event. The annual praising of MJF. He does get like a pretty cool video package. I don't know if any of the statistics they read off were true or not.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard about him being like a great football player, but
I heard he was a football player. Now I don't know how good he was.
Right.
I mean, this is MJF, so you don't know what.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's very weird to me. But yeah, he basically has Wardlow the entire time, protecting him. Although everybody is trying to get him out. Like, so Wardlow's not like 100% on keeping people off of him, which was fine. And then Wardlow just, like, I think it was, looking here, Lee Moriarty just got totally thrown out. I was kind of sad about that, but because I was still hoping it would come down to him and Moriarty, and then MJF would have equal problems with Moriarty that Punk did.
Sure. So now going to the end of this match.
Yeah.
So it's Dante and MJF, and they're standing in the ring. And did you notice the weird lights?
Yes.
And everyone is like, is that a hint that that a wrestler is coming, or was that just a malfunction? What do you think it was?
I'm thinking because the way people got eliminated.
Yeah.
Like, instead of being down to the final 4, it was like the final 3 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just to notify that the next person, like, hey, you're down to the final 3. The next person eliminated, like, you two will be facing off. Like, that's what I thought, but I don't know what it was, because they've done like weird stage mishap things a few times as part of something.
Well, so I don't remember them telling me the rules of this thing, because I thought it was actually them fighting for the ring, because that's what they've done in the past. So unless they said that's what they were going to do, like the final 2, then they meet on.
That's how they did it. The first 2 was the same thing.
Was it? Oh,
yeah, because the first one it came down to him and Hangman, and then they had a match. And then I forget who he fought last year, but yeah. So each time it's been you go down to 2, and then those 2 have a match.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is what I used to do with my wrestling figures when I was little. Like, instead of like the official Royal Rumble, always did it that way. Like, had a match for whatever it was. It made more sense to me for some reason. So now, if they would just, instead of the Battle Royal, if it was like the Royal Rumble method, it'd be even better. But yeah, so I guess Dante turns on Team Taz or Ricky Starks.
I guess. I mean, Team Taz thing, I was like, okay, Dante Martin. I mean, Dante and Team Taz. Okay, I get it. That might be good for him. And then now they're doing this stupid storyline. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I was more interested in bad guy Dante Martin,
Yes.
just to see. But maybe his brother is about to come back, so it's going to be him and Leo and his brother
Yeah. Okay.
as a group. Like that would make sense. But I don't know. Like I know his brother had gotten injured, but I thought he'd be. I don't know. I didn't think the injury was so severe that he'd be out as long as he has been.
Well, I mean, I don't like the guy. I mean, when I say I don't like the guy, I don't like the wrestler character.
Right.
But Trent, I mean, he was going forever. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, Trent had neck stuff. I don't know what the other Martin had.
that's what I'm saying. Maybe the other guy had some really bad.
Yeah.
Messed his neck up really bad.
Yeah. I mean, I could look it up. I just
don't
don't. I remember it happening, and then like it's unfortunate because they were both like crazy in the ring.
Sure.
But yeah. So MJF does like I'm gonna go save him from Ricky Starks at the end,
Yeah,
and
I actually like that.
I mean, it played out. I knew that's what was gonna happen. Like, there's no way it didn't, but it still made me laugh. And then
Yeah.
MJF comes down and happens. Now, I did not watch the multi-man match here with like Jurassic Express and the Varsity Blondes and all that. Now I watched the end, or I guess later on, because what's her name? I can't remember her name.
Heart girl.
Yeah, Julia Joan Hart gets
Yeah.
misted.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that.
I seriously hope they don't go to Alexa Bliss route. I hope that's not where they're going.
Yeah, I mean, she might be in the group, but I don't think it would be like that. I think it would just be
she has
like
the talent to be like that.
well, right. I mean, she's very young to everything.
Yes.
So, but I mean,
Well,
putting her, I mean, it's easier to be a bad guy. So maybe there's something she can do.
Well, and I mean, comparing her to Alexa Bliss is not right because I think she's the best woman in WWE just because of her facial expressions and everything
Right.
else. So.
Yeah, not necessarily like in-ring ability.
Sure.
Like, but yeah, just like as overall as like basically like for that WWE style, like character stuff. Yeah, if she gets rid of the Fiend thing. I had a dream that they had the Fiend show back up, and it was just somebody else. Like,
I could see them doing that.
I absolutely could as well. You do get out of this whole thing where Eddie Kingston came down and he gets jumped by 2.0 basically. But he was with, I believe Ortiz was back there with him.
Yeah.
So I think like, because you were kind of talking about that, like it looks like you're going to get I'm assuming that's working towards getting the three of them together. Proud and Powerful and Kingston.
Yeah.
And
Which
Ortiz
is
like super ripped.
Yeah, Ortiz is like been
like
benching or something.
He's down to like 9% body fat or something. It looked like it's like super weird, but
it's a shame. It's a shame they're being wasted on terrible feuds. So hopefully with Kingston they can get back into the
into something that matters. Yeah, I mean they're good enough that it should happen. The Cash and Dax have like their promo. We go to the Young Bucks and Cutler against Chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically got Trent back. He finally shaved his head.
I pretty much didn't watch this match because I'm like, they're going to do some kind of crap with the best friend, but I don't care. So I was like cooking, or I was doing something during this match. So, and then when I saw Trent came back, I was like, yeah. So
it's going to be real sad when they herald the coming of Okada, and you just have no interest because it's related to the best friends.
Everyone already knows. Let's just move on to Ruby Soho
Yeah.
because everyone knows how I feel about the best friend. So.
Yeah, the best part about this is when she's kind of getting jumped and turns around, and Nyla's just like, surprise.
Yeah.
Nyla is probably one of my favorite people.
Well, as far as personalities go in AEW, as far as the women go,
Yeah.
it's the best character by far. I think even better than Britt. Be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, if she goes on some, like, I don't know how you would do it. Like, because a lot of the stuff she does works because it's like what a bad guy would do,
Sure.
but it's hilarious. Like the
Sure.
the surprise and just knocks him out. Like, you can't really do that as a good guy. So I don't know. Like, I mean, you gotta go like the Steve Austin route where they're just directed at bad guys and do that.
Yeah.
But then I'm not sure. But there's something at some point. Something will catch fire.
Well, I guess teaming Tay and piece of bread with Ruby is I guess good. So I don't know.
Right. But yeah. So Sammy is going to fight Cody. Turns out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they didn't think that was going to get booed, especially with Ethan Page.
Oh,
egging
like
them
that whole
on.
part. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the only person that's going to get cheered in that entire thing at the moment is Sammy.
Sure.
But it'll be curious. Maybe they'll use this as the time that Cody's either gonna never turn, or there's gonna be a moment that he does it.
I don't think I don't think they're going to turn him. I think they're going to keep playing this game and making fans even more mad at him.
Well, again, like as soon as he turns, people are gonna cheer because they'll feel like they won.
Sure.
Like, I mean, is the biggest thing. It feels like just Cody's stuff is just so. I hear people use the phrase overbooked, but I kind of have to agree with it a lot of times. Like, even his like simple interactions with people just seem to be everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, is that what led people to it, or was it just somebody was going to be the guy that's supposed to be a good guy and gets booed? Like, it was going to happen to somebody, and it just happened to be him.
The only time that it was good is when he was fighting Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And then after that, it just went off the rails. I think it's a shame what happened to Brody because I think Brody would have did stuff with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything else is just like you said. This seems overbooked and just
Yeah. Well, because I don't know if I agree with it, but I definitely see it. And his intro, like his whole entrance, definitely rubs people the wrong way. Like the presentation is just whatever. But yeah,
And
so
anytime you have Brandy out there, you're gonna get booed. So
yeah, like just they could be. It's like, could you believe that Brandy came and changed my tire when it was flat? She didn't think I could do it myself, and then she gave me $1,000, but she threw it on the ground, so I had to pick it up.
well, I think it was Jim Cornette that said, "They're like you have the makings of the biggest heel ever in wrestling, probably, and you don't use it properly, and you're trying to make it them out to be good guys." So.
Well, my only disagreement to that is as soon as he's a bad guy, the reaction goes away.
I don't think it would. I think they would treat it like Roman. I think, like you said, the fans would be like, "Okay, we got what we wanted, and now we're gonna boo."
Now we'll play along.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, after that, the next match is we got Jamie Hayter just beating the tar out of Rio for however many minutes before
like
Rio
Rio's
pulls something out.
I like her new outfit. I didn't like the pink thing she wore.
Rio
The blue,
or
the blue. Rio, yeah, I like Rio's blue outfit that she has now.
Okay.
I didn't like her pink outfit.
Um, yeah, this match, I was expecting to zone out while watching this match because I kind of knew that Rio was going to win.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't think they got me. I don't think they got me on this one at any point. But it was like, man, what a beating. Because, like, they were playing it up as, like, the whole point of this was for Jamie Hayter to soften up Rio. And,
Yeah.
I mean, from watching it, it's like, yeah, that's definitely what happened.
Yeah, you're just leading up to. I think this match also is just leading to the point where Hater is going to turn on Britt.
Yeah. Have they ever done, not like AEW exclusively, but you always have where, like, the champion, like the bad guy champion, like the good guy has to fight one of their people to soften them up. Has it ever happened where the good guys actually lost that match?
Yeah, NWO all the time.
Huh?
Yeah, anytime the NWO did stuff.
Well, yeah, I'm talking like more normal fact. Like in this situation, like
okay.
where
You're
Jamie
talking about
Hayter would have
AEW?
won.
Oh,
Yeah, like Jamie Hayter wins this match, and it's just
No,
like,
I don't
oh.
think- yeah. I don't think AEW's done that. Yeah.
Right, no, I'm saying like, but I don't even know if that's happened in WWE. Like, if it was Evolution or whatever, I don't think the person who had to fight Randy Orton before they fought Triple H, like, I don't think they lost to Orton. Like, there might have been a DQ or something, but I'm just trying to think if there's been a situation where it's like, oh, you're going to fight my hired hand kind of dude to soften you up, and then the hired hand actually wins the match.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sure.
Somewhere along the way it's happened.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
trying to think. I'm trying to think of DX era.
Like if instead of fighting Shawn, like they had to fight Triple H before Shawn, and then Triple H actually won.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I can't recall it. Like, and I'm not like I don't know everything that happened in the '80s, but just something I'd be interested to see. It would be new to me, so I'd like to see it play out. Like just a clean win where everybody's like, oh, well, crap. I mean, you'd basically be killing your good guy by doing that.
Sure.
But maybe they did it to
don't
Lex
know.
when they gave up on him in WWE.
Sure. Like I said, I'm sure it happened. Well, I'm
I
sure
mean,
it happened.
it has to.
And
like,
well, like I said, I'm almost positive the NWO did it all the time.
Well, yeah,
So-
but the end, like, yeah, because like all kinds of interference and stuff with Hogan.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd probably be it. I'm thinking more like a legitimate.
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as legitimate, like this, the second hand just destroys the guy. Yeah, I
Well,
don't
and just
know.
wins the match. Like, not even destroy. They just win the match. Like instead of beating them up, they just win.
Because I remember Piper when he was trying to get a match with Hogan. I mean, the NWO would beat, Nash and Hall would beat,
Well, right, like
Piper.
yeah. I'm not talking about like beat downs or anything like that. I mean, like actually just win the match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Nash and Hall did that with
Okay.
Piper. So I don't know though. I mean, it's been a while. We'll just say it's been a while.
Right. Well, and with Hogan, there's no telling. Like,
Sure.
because of the NWO was a reflection of him at that point, so the NWO had to go over, brother.
Sure.
Yeah, we got the spot where Malachi missed Julia Hart, although it sure seemed like he got Brian Pillman way more than her. But she definitely sold it like she had been stabbed in the eyeball.
I don't know what they're doing with Malachi Black. I don't know. Yeah.
It feels like he's working on a faction. That's the only thing I can think of. There's no other reason.
And if this causes Brian Pillman Jr. to have a better role than the stupid First City Blondes, I'm all for it. So yeah.
Yeah, I was optimistic of that, but I don't know. Neither one of them have like Pillman with the MJF thing was all right,
Yeah.
but you knew he was being fed to MJF at that point.
Sure.
I just don't know if I don't know. We'll have to see. Like he's definitely good, but like it's the promo stuff I'm just not sold on currently, but we'll see.
Yeah. So hopefully this leads to MJF, Brian Pillman have a better role.
Yeah.
Because I want good things for him.
Yeah. I still think he needs to cut the hair.
I agree.
Maybe I'm biased because I grew up in the 80s and saw the mullets. I'm sure I had one at one point in life because I know I had a rat tail, like, or not like the long rat tail, but I think they called it a duck tail.
I think he would be mad at me if I was like the costume director or whatever of AEW.
Yeah.
Because I think he'd be like, "You just want me dressing like my dad." I'd be like,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Be like, look, it's going to work pretty good for Hook to embrace family heritage. Just go with it.
Exactly.
All right, we got Danielson and Silver.
Yeah.
I mean, this match was pretty much what you expected.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think. Well, I don't think Silver got the reaction that they were hoping he was going to get. Like, I mean, as far as like, because he's from that area, and I think MJF had a bigger reaction than Silver did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was expected. I don't think they thought Silver was going to get MJF's reaction.
Sure.
I would hope they know better. Now, if MJF would have got booed out of the building, then Silver would have probably got like a pretty good one. But yeah, I mean, it's like a it was a competitive match, but he beat Silver and knocks him out. I did
it's weird seeing a huge faction like the Dark Order get destroyed every week because they have a lot of guys, and you would think you would not allow their men to get destroyed like they are getting, but they are. So it's a weird thing.
Well, I mean, Danielson's like thinned their numbers by stomping their heads in.
Sure.
So,
I kind of want Danielson to win next week.
I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going to.
I really want him to though, because I mean, I like Hangman.
Yeah, but Danielson's the hot hand, clearly.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'll be like it's definitely there has to have been the discussion, at least, of maybe we do have to do this.
Yeah.
Although I feel like having him run through the Dark Order and Hangman. Now, if the plan is for Danielson to get it for a short reign, and basically him and Hangman to trade it,
I think
since we haven't had that happen yet.
Yeah, I think if you're going to introduce somebody for Danielson to basically help Danielson out, I think next week would be a good time to do that. That way he beats Hangman dirty, I guess, and then you can just trade it later, or I don't know.
Yeah, like have Danielson have it for a while, but they're like, because the way the match goes, there's the rematch.
Exactly.
And Hangman can get it back at the rematch or something, but
at Revolution or Revelation or whatever that pay-per-view is called,
which might be good because again, like I have no problem with a trade with the belt when it's not like all the time.
Exactly.
Like that's the one thing that people always seem to forget about in the Attitude Era is like, man, the belt was changing hands so much. It didn't even make sense at times. But to have it happen like once, like every couple years, where you get like a back and forth, I think that'd be fine.
Well, then you had like the opposite end of WCW where Hulk Hogan had the belt for it seemed like forever.
Yeah.
And and Hall and Nash had the tag belts forever. So yeah.
Well, or I mean, you could do like Shinsuke Nakamura. I read something the other day where he won the Intercontinental title in August and has only defended it one time.
Yes.
So,
how sad is that? That belt has went down, and
dude. Well, and the thing is, like Shinsuke Nakamura is good. Like they've had people, like they have the talent to do good stuff, but it's just there's nothing behind the matches most of the time. It feels like.
Well, I mean, you had like Shawn Michaels had that belt, and it seemed like that was almost as big as the world title, you know.
When I was growing up, because you had Mr. Perfect, you had Texas Tornado, Sean, Brett, Like those guys, Razor was in there.
Yep.
As regular holders of the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
I mean, just from like, maybe because like most of the wrestling I watched was like Superstars and Challenge and stuff like that.
Sure.
Or like basically the syndicated shows. Maybe the presentation was different or whatever, but yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was a super important title.
Yeah, now it's just. Oh yeah, I guess we do have that title out there somewhere.
Well, I mean, they have, between the two shows, you got 2 world champs, you got 2 middle champs, you got tag champs everywhere. Like, there's just so many belts.
I couldn't even tell you who the tag champs were on either, other than the Usos.
Right. Well, and that's like, at least AEW, they have, like, the TNT title, even though I don't think it's been the best with Sammy having it.
Yeah.
It still feels like if I had to choose right now, the TNT title means more to me than the Intercontinental title or the United States title.
Agreed.
Like, if I had to rate them and what it feels like.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some bias there because I don't watch a ton of the WWE stuff, but like, it definitely feels bigger than it being the TNT title feels bigger than the 2 from WWE for the mid tier.
And that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, the Intercontinental title, like, they'll have runs where it's, like, better. Like, even Danielson, there was one point where he wanted to have the Intercontinental title and try to make it a big deal. And then that never happened. But, like, it's one of those things like, oh, we're going to focus on tag teams. No, you're not. In WWE. Like, you're not going to elevate this belt. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. So, anyway. After this match, I thought it was funny, though, when Danielson was talking about kicking everybody's head in. Yeah. And he's like, wait a minute. If nothing, I'm a man of my word. And went to kick Silver's head in, but then Hangman came out and stopped him. Yeah. With the simple, I'm going to stomp the cowboy crap out of you.
Sure.
Which was, again, short and simple, but it felt pretty intense.
Yep.
So, not the greatest episode, but I thought it was good. I mean, the bad stuff's tolerable. So, again, it's only 2 hours. So, now to the important stuff, though. Hook. So you haven't got to see the Hook match yet?
I didn't watch last night.
I honestly, so the FTR, I know you're like big fan of FTR and Lucha Bros. That match is good. It's probably one of the. They've gotten better each time they've had a match.
Gotcha.
There's like, if you wanted to nitpick it, there's 1 or 2 things where you're like, I don't know about that. But if you're not like trying to be super critical, it's a good match. False finishes and all that kind of stuff. The Hook match, I thought was very good for what it was. Like you're not going to watch that and be like, this is better than anything I've ever seen.
Did he say, beat me if you can, survive?
No, but I was thinking about that because I assume if it's like a promo with like Taz doing some of the talking for him, you're going to get where Taz does the beat him if you can, and then Hook will do the survive if I let you.
Yeah.
Like, I assume, like, right, that's got to be how they do that.
That's I mean, that is probably one of the coolest taglines that I've ever heard in wrestling. Just because.
Now, they might have already said that, but I feel like just that, like, Taz doing the one and him doing the other. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Hook looks good. His hair is not constrained by Earth's gravity.
So did you say, Hook's hair is ridiculous. Did you say that Hook's finisher is the Taz mission?
Yeah, the Katahajime.
Gotcha.
I believe they said he is calling it Red Rum.
Okay.
Like, murder.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because obviously it doesn't make sense to call it the Taz mission if it's Hook. And Hook mission sounds horrible. So
yes. Hook mission, here it comes.
Yeah, but Katahajime or whatever, like, but yeah, so he does, like, his move set from what we saw is, like, obviously some striking. He's got like some suplexes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He intimidated Bryce at one point, which I thought was funny because that's always good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
it,
I think just put him on dark and elevation for a little bit and let him just destroy jobbers and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I'll say this: if I compare him to Brock Anderson,
Okay.
I think Hook's first outing was much better than Brock's.
Sure.
Now, the situation Brock was put into was very different than, hey, we're going to have you go out and beat up on Fuego Uno, not Fuego Dos.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's not like a super long match, but it's pretty good.
The problem with Brock is he dresses exactly like his dad.
Yeah.
And his dad was never the best.
No.
I mean,
Well,
let's just face it. Arn Anderson is who Arn Anderson is because he was part of the Four Horsemen. He was the enforcer.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I mean, so.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, he was super good for that kind of role.
Sure.
But yeah, and it was funny on Arn's podcast one time. They were like, well, something about like how much they look the same. And he's like, yeah, we're hoping he grows out of it one day because it's not doing him any favors or something like that. I thought it was funny.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't know how long Hook's been training or what Hook's been doing versus what Brock was.
Yeah.
And again, Brock was totally in a different like match situation.
Sure.
But yeah, Hook, like I was pleased, but I was kind of surprised because it was like, oh, he looks like pretty good. Again, it's go lay it in on poor on Fuego, but
yeah,
definitely check it out because I think you'll be happy. And if he, assuming this is like his basement, so to say,
yeah,
like because you have to assume he'll get better.
Sure.
Then, if he can talk at all,
yeah,
it'd be like, wow, I can't believe that, because AEW basically has like young guys already that will probably be a pretty big deal, and then they already have a 22-year-old that could be very good.
Sure.
Again, assuming he's not like just, oh, this is the best he ever gets.
Sure.
Which I don't think will happen. Could you imagine going home to Taz and just sucking? He would just cut promos on you all day.
Yeah.
That's what we don't know is Hook is going to have excellent promos because he's had to listen to Taz cut promos on him his whole life. Be like, you don't drink out of the milk carton. And then 20 minutes later, he's still going on. This one time I yelled at a guy for not falling correctly, and I talked about milk in the store.
Yes.
If I slip on it, I'll fall right. And you're here disrespecting my household by drinking out of the milk carton?
And then he sets up the kitchen table and suplexes them through it.
Yeah. I've been taking head and arm Tazplexes my whole life.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
All right.
great.
Well, I think that's.
Yep.
I think we've been rambling long enough. So
Yeah. We are done. All right. I'm going to outro us. Here we go.
outro us. Have a good week. Merry Christmas.